Hi everyone, my name is Samantha Robinson and today I will be going over with you learning intentions and success criteria in the classroom. So first of all, what are learning intentions? So learning intentions are what students will learn, and I emphasize will because this is our goal. This is what we're here to do, and this is what we will make sure our students can understand. So a couple things to go off of when you're developing these learning intentions: make sure they're based on standards. In the long run, we are grading for standards. So we need to make sure what we want our students to know and what they will learn is based on our standards. They should also answer a what, why, and how question. So what are they learning? Why are they learning it? And how are they going to show they've learned it? And that how will be covered in the success criteria, SC. They should be in a student-friendly language. It should be readable. It shouldn't use any new vocabulary. It should be something that students can reference. And it can be in a format of students are learning ... in order to ... So what they are learning, why they are learning it, and finish off that statement. So success criteria is what success looks like. So how you know the student got it, okay? This needs to be specific. It needs to have a concrete, specific basis to it, and it needs to be measurable. So it needs to be something that we have a tool to measure so students can follow along with their progress. It should also answer the how question from our learning intentions, and it can be written in a format as students are able to do or students will be successful one. So some good tips. First and foremost, learning intentions are not a secret. This is not something we hide from the class and we're quizzing them on. They should know their learning intentions for every lesson, and they should know what they have to do to be successful in that lesson. You should connect back to the learning intentions in the unit as much as possible and share the learning intentions often. So many times in the unit, you can reflect back to the learning intentions. So you could be talking about notes and then say, so this is where it's in our learning intentions. I've seen some teachers even post the learning intentions and success criteria on students' desks, post it on the board, give it to them on each worksheet, constantly remind them of what they are learning, why they are learning it, and how they are going to be successful in learning this. And another thing you can do is share examples of what success looks like. So this is what you should do, actually. Make sure you provide some way for the students to know how they'll be successful, what that looks like, whether that's a rubric, what a good one looks like, so a WAGOLL, which is teacher-made assignment, shows what it should look like, or work samples from previous students. So quickly, I want to share with you an example or two. So I know this looks messy. This is an example of what my learning intentions and success criteria look like posted in my classroom on a squished board. I usually use a whole chalkboard, so it's a little dense, but bear with me. I'm just going to share one or two of them. As you can see, I'm a science teacher: chemistry, biology, anatomy and physiology, and earth science. So I'll start with chemistry. So we have our learning intentions, our success criteria, and our HAT questions. HAT questions are higher order thinking questions. This addresses any Bloom's verbs we use in our learning intentions or success criteria, and it makes sure the students are thinking broadly, not yes or no, true or false, a broad way of thinking. So an example for chemistry: SWL, students will learn about characteristics of bonding in order to be able to draw a visual representation of chemical bonding. So students will learn in order to, so this says what we are learning and why. And then our success criteria answers the how. So SWBSW, students will be successful when they can draw structures of elements bonding with other elements using lines and symbols for a chemical reaction project. And then our higher order thinking question: hydrogen bonds connect hydrogen atoms to oxygen atoms, creating water. What would happen if elements were not able to bond? So this is really getting them to think of the deep understanding of why bonding is so important. And I'll do a second example in earth science. This is the current subject I teach. So SWL, students will learn about the layers of the earth in order to understand how structures on earth are formed and how these layers move and function. So what they're learning, layers of the earth, why? So they can understand how they move and function and what they form. How will they prove it? Students will be successful when they, and in this form I kind of cut it into 2 steps, maybe like a station learning. So students will be successful when they compare and contrast Earth's layers to an M&M, so in like a lab, or when they demonstrate how plates move using tasty treats. So this is another kind of lab example. Our hot questions: why is it important to know what caused different land formations? So thinking, why do we need to know this? And how does understanding Earth structures and movements disprove claims that natural disasters are controlled? So this is getting us to think on a very scientific level to get past conspiracy theories and think as a scientist. So again, this is one way I set them up in my classroom, putting them on tables, putting them in worksheets, workbooks. Make sure your students know your learning intentions, what they need to learn, and how they're going to show it. Thank you again. My name is Samantha Robinson, and if you have any questions, please leave them below.